that
So
I knew.
I'm interested in to find out where that drive comes from. You know, it's has to be something that you're already have.
Yeah. I mean, even when I was selling drugs, like I was very driven.
Yeah.
Like I've always had
But
that.
just
I
driven.
put my mind
Yeah,
to it.
just
I'm going to
driven
do it.
towards the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
I
so
basically
once
shifted
something,
that.
yeah, once something positive came into your life,
Mm-hmm.
you had the ability to use that same focus and drive that you had back
Exactly.
when you were selling drugs or whatever.
Yeah, it's very
And
true.
that's like I it would be interesting to know how many people like that are in that situation could get out of it so easy if they had another opportunity. You know?
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, I mean, I came out, when I got out of jail, I knew it was going to be hard.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I had a duffel bag with a few clothing items, and that is it. And so I knew it was going to be hard, and so I prepared myself for that, and I just was willing to do whatever it took, no matter what. And, you know, my kids, I knew what I had put my kids and my family through, and I knew my kids deserved better. Bree, my youngest daughter's dad, when I married, he actually ended up overdosing and dying when she was 5. So, she, you know, she already had lost one parent, and she didn't need to lose
really
another
rough.
one, and
Yeah.
I put her through enough.
You
Yeah,
had to make that change.
Well,
Yes.
it's amazing how much you've been through, like since I knew you, and like it's amazing. This story is amazing. Like
It's amazing
all the
that
things you had to
you're-
go through and your
Yeah.
resilience.
yeah.
It's amazing that you're alive.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely, 100% it is.
Usually, once you hit the homeless stage,
Yeah.
There's
it's
no
over.
coming back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah, that's-
very rare to see people come back from that.
And you've been in that situation multiple times.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
More than once,
yeah,
for
that's-
sure.
So I want to talk to you more about your concrete cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched a video that you did, and you said that the concrete cutting is what keeps you on the path, basically, and motivated, and because it's such a hard job.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, you know, yeah. I finally felt like I was a part of something.
Yeah.
Because it's a man's job. I mean, there are very few women in the entire world that do this, and
Yeah.
I understand why, because, wow, it's, yeah.
It's tough.
It is, but I knew it was going to be hard. And it's for the first time I had a job where, yeah, I knew it was going to be hard, but I could finally pay my own bills.
Yeah.
I wasn't having to rely on a man to give me a place to live or
Yeah. Right.
buy me a car or whatever. For the first time I had my own house. I bought my own brand new car.
Yeah.
Like, and it, you know, the more that you strive for, the more goals that you set, it just, yeah, you just have to prepare yourself, know it's going to be hard, and
Well, I think
the mindset.
I think
Yeah.
all the mindset.
the thing you can do with that is like learn to accept that and thrive on it. You know,
Exactly.
And the more you do that, it's like a muscle in the brain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It grows. It gets stronger.
And it becomes easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people,
That's right.
on a daily basis, are like, how do you do this job? Why do you do this job?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it gets easier every day.
Yeah.
You know, it does. And yeah, it sucks. There's definitely days I want to quit, but I refuse. I will
Yeah.
not, absolutely will not let myself quit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's definitely one thing that I've changed from before. The other times that I got clean is absolutely my mindset. I've never had a growth mindset. I've never wanted to learn. You know, I always thought I knew it all. People give me advice and I'll take what I want and leave the rest.
Yeah.
But now, you know, I actually truly listen to what others have to say. I want to help other people. I want to help other addicts that are struggling.
Yeah.
Even people that aren't addicts that are struggling, you know, if
Yeah.
people can see, like, if I can come back from this, you
Yeah,
can come back
right.
from
Yeah,
whatever,
that's a
you know?
awesome like teaching opportunity.
Absolutely.
like of people that have been through addiction, which is one of the hardest things to get out of that addiction.
Yeah.
And so I feel like people that have been through that are a lot of times the easiest people to learn from.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sure. Well, you have more empathy.
Yes.
For people that are struggling.
Yeah.
Like you said, regardless of what they're going through, you could probably relate to that struggle.
Yep.
True. And a lot of people, the struggle, like you were saying, it's up in here.
Yeah.
This is what has to change.
Yes, absolutely.
I find that's the case in most people. Like most people that we've talked to and interviewed on this podcast have had a similar story to what you have. They might have different experiences, but their story to the core is basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
So do you read personal development books? Do you do things like that? What are some of the things that you do to keep that growth mindset going?
So one thing that's great about my job is I'm always on my own, and so I have earbuds in all day, and I am constantly listening to podcasts
Awesome.
and books. Jocko podcast is my favorite.
Me too.
Started at 1 and I'm at like 260 something by now, I think.
Yeah.
So
And that's a lot of time.
is.
Yeah.
It's so many hours.
It's a commitment.
That and, reading his books. I've read his
Okay.
books, or I do books on, audiobooks.
Yeah.
I like to do.
Right.
So yeah, I'm constantly wanting to learn more things. I'm constantly wanting to better myself. I'm not complacent. I don't want to just sit back and be lazy and watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Like I want to become a better person. I want to teach my kids better things. I want to, take care of other people and help other people. And it's just,
It's interesting that drive to be better, to become more, turns into a very strong, service type of oriented person, right?
Yes.
Because it switches from being like me, because addicts, it's all about you, right?
Absolutely,
What can I do
To what can I do for other
Yeah.
people? And it seems like the people that do the best in life are the ones that choose to take their adversities, flip them, and then serve.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I've met, I have these cards that I give out that has my YouTube channel. And, I tell people, because people don't like to talk about it. It's, about addiction. There's a stigma and people don't like to talk about it, especially in the workplace, business, offices, stuff like that. People don't like to talk about it. Well, I put a post on LinkedIn and, said 3 years ago, these arms were covered in track marks. And it got like 76,000 views, and I had people hitting me up, messaging me constantly saying, you know what, I'm so happy that you were able to do this. I wanted to, I've been through this. So many people were saying, I have family members, or I have been through this, and it's insane how many people go through this in silence. So, it's just so common, and people don't know it because people hide it. They don't want to admit it. It's
accountability and accepting of who you are is the first step.
Absolutely.
Right? Instead of denial, the opposite of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to get to a place where you're like, you know what? I'm in this situation because of me. It's all my fault.
Yep.
Whether or not I got in a car accident, or whether or not somebody else did something to me, the choices that I've made have led to this.
Absolutely.
Right? So accountability, that's your first step, taking accountability. And some people, they don't know that until they hear another story, like your own, right?
Exactly.
And then they hear that and they're like, oh, wait, you know what? I need to take accountability for this. And then it opens up the doors to opportunity, right? Take accountability, and then you open up the doors to opportunity where you're like, wow, there is something that I can actually do here.
Yep.
I can actually heal from this.
Yep.
Yes.
And help other people heal
Exactly.
also.
100%.
And like that makes me think of with your kids, did you kind of feel like you had to take on the both of the parent roles
Yes,
for your kids? And
yes.
so I'm curious if that's kind of the reason why you chose this profession.
I don't know. Never
Interesting.
thought of that.
Yeah.
Could be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, there's a lot of women these days, especially. I have a lot of women that come in and out of the gym. That I run a gym, and a lot of them are divorced, a lot of single moms, things like that. And they have to play both roles. They have to be the caregiver.
Yeah.
They have to be able to nurture and love and teach their children. But they also have to be the provider. They have to provide for their children.
Yep.
And it seems like the number one thing that starts to lack is their self-care, right? Taking care of themselves.
Yes.
And then that's when they end up in the gym, right? Because they're like, I finally had to realize that I can't be the mom that I need to be, right? Or I can't keep working the way that I keep working if I don't take care of my health.
Yes,
That's awesome because
absolutely.
they are finding that time in their already busy schedule.
Oh, yeah.
To do that. It's like, that's amazing.
Just an hour, 3 or 4 times a week. Just that's all it takes. I mean, obviously it's more than that because you got to eat healthy and
Yes.
all that. But
Kind of change your mindset.
yeah. But all that stuff comes with time. When you first got out of jail, it wasn't just that all of a sudden you're where you are right now.
No.
Right? It took years to get here, right? That development. So letting some of your viewers know that that's also how it's going to work for them. Hey, guess what? This is going to take time.
Yeah.
It's not an overnight fix.
No.
Like,
right?
I think
One
that's
step at a time.
a really good point that John made is it's not going to be automatic. And a lot of people want that automatic switch and it doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
You have to put in the work and,
You have to.
and it's going to be hard, super hard.
Being an addict, especially people that have been an addict for so many years, an addict is all about instant gratification.
Yeah.
That is all you want. And I still struggle with that sometimes. It's a hard habit to break.
Well, here's the thing. It's in our face all the time.
Yes.
Instant gratification
Oh
is
my
there
gosh,
all
yes.
the time.
Well, that's
You
all
get
people post online.
Oh, yeah. And people get pleasure off of just this.
You see
Dopamine
you
release.
see
Ah.
the
Yep.
really amazing parts, but you don't see the hard work they put in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So true.
Like when they those videos where they show like the amazing thing that they made, like some awesome dish, and then they span out and it shows the rest of the kitchen and it's trash.
Yes, exactly.
Right? They're like, this is what it really looks like.
Yes.
You know, like it's not this beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
so just so you know, your house is gonna look like this
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
If you want to,
If you want to take the time to do this kind of thing. And it's the same thing with with all different areas of your life, right? Once you focus in and hone on the different aspects that get you to the place that you want to be, you may start lacking on some of the other areas.
Yep.
So finding balance is one of the hardest
Yes.
things to do.
Very true.
So it's just those little tiny disciplines. If you can just practice one simple thing, right? And then introduce another one and introduce another one. Several years down the road, guess what? You have balance in all of those areas.
Little sacrifices at a time. Do you want to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay.
1
second, sorry.
I'll check my...
Things with that.
Okay, so we just had to take a little break so Mona could go potty.
Yeah, because John here had to bring his dog.
Well,
Which made my day.
we're glad
I
to
love
have her.
dogs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I have something I was going to say just before we left. I think one of the hardest things for men to admit, when we talk about how you were saying that it's really hard for people to admit their addictions, right? It's really hard for men to admit that they have a porn addiction.
Oh, yeah.
Because in lots of groups, social groups, it's recognized as not a problem. The thing is, it is a problem. I don't know very many wives that think, oh, it's okay. Go ahead, honey. You just, you know what I mean? Like, because of the way it makes the wife feel, or the girlfriend, or whoever.
it's kind of just gross.
Betrayal.
And it trains the mind of the male or female. I mean, females can be addicted to porn as well, but it trains the mind to view love and sexuality as a strictly carnal thing.
Yeah.
When that's only a part of love and connection with human beings.
Yes.
Right? So, Mona. But that's one thing that I think is hard for a lot of men to talk about, especially if you post something publicly. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, can you help me out?
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've been through that and I was raised at a very young age to be, addicted to pornography. And the